The Cigar Nerds Podcast.
And welcome to Cigar Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Smokin' Joe.
I'm Brad Jackson.
So what are you smoking, Brad? We got another two cigar episode for you.
Yeah, so I stepped it up from the standard punch. Now I'm going with the Punch Deluxe. This is for folks that don't know, another one of those classics. Is just a step up from the traditional punch. Sporting a Connecticut broadleaf Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper with...
I also have Sumatra over here.
Of course you do. But, I got a Churchill. What do you got?
I've got a Toro of the My Father Jamie Garcia Reserva Especial Successor. This thing is Nicaraguan fillers, binders with a Sumatra wrapper. But this comes in two different sizes. You either get the Toro with the Sumatra, or you get a Torpedo with the Habano. And I went with the Sumatra.
So yeah, this cigar internally consists of tobaccos from Nicaragua, Honduras, and the Dominican. I'm going to say off the bat here, it's starting at a nice medium. They say that depending on the palate, this can go anywhere from the medium to full. Very, very,
Words, man.
Yeah,
words.
I forgot my words. Very earthy, very cedar-like, just a little bit of sprinkle of black pepper every now and then. Just a delicious, type cigar. If this wasn't a Churchill, I would say I would start every day with one of these.
Yeah, with the Churchill, you got to have a little bit of time. So far in this one, I'm getting a little nutty, some like almond, little chocolatey, and I'd say coffee notes so far. And this is kind of more on the medium plus size. But I've not really had a bad My Father cigar. I mean, they're not a cheap brand usually, but they make some good shit. So speaking of good shit and successors, this week we're going to be talking about Beetlejuice, or Beetlejuice 2, however you want to note it. I figure we start the spooky season off with a semi-spooky movie.
Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely one. If you're fans of Beetlejuice, I would absolutely say go see it. Not going to spoil it this early on into the episode, but I found it quite enjoyable as a fan of the original Beetlejuice. I think that was produced in 1987?
Something like that. And if you've got to travel the realms of the undead, you should call in the Strike Force. StrikeForceEnergy.com. Use your promo code CigarNerds for 20% off your order. Comes a little tiny 10 pouches, not included with a handbook for the recently deceased, but you can probably get that off of Amazon. And with that, we're going to say his name a third time and travel to the underworld. Be right back. And welcome back to the show. Spooky season. It's finally here. The one time a year when I can buy house decor, because it's fucking Halloween all the goddamn time here.
You don't have Amazon Prime? No, I'm kidding.
Dude, we spent 2 hours in a fucking Spirit Halloween the other day.
I mean, we went yesterday and probably spent a good hour. And we even ventured over to Party City, and dude, I'm kind of sad in a lot of ways. Like, it was really, I remember going to Party City, and I mean, dude, they would be doing custom wigs and masks and,
yeah, they literally have, a whole aisle of, Halloween shit.
And now it's here's some stuff off the shelf, and it's not even the full store. Maybe they're still setting up or something, but, dude, I don't know. And even, with Spirit, maybe it's just that particular location, or maybe we're too early in the season, but I was like...
Or it's got the initial hit, and now they're having to restock. The second wave is not... Either they haven't fully set up, or the second wave of shit has not made it in yet.
But like there was a lot of cool stuff. Like I feel like the push is to compete with like the Home Depots with like the animatronics. Like I'm starting to see more and more animatronics being a thing.
Yeah, because I haven't been to Home Depot yet this year, but they've got some crazy, like, home of the 12-foot skeleton and all the best one that if I had to buy one, there's it's a haunted band. It's like a band of monsters and skeletons, and it has like pre-programmed music, but it's also a built-in Bluetooth speaker, so you can make the band play whatever music you want.
Oh, that's cool.
So I've seen all kind of videos of people like making them do like fucking NSYNC or metal or some shit. So it's like, it's got like the pre-programmed Halloween songs, but yeah, they'll actually sing and play to whatever music you're playing through the through the speakers. So you can make it do all kind of crazy shit.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, I did. I had to venture because you sent me a picture of the little tiny terrors that, in person, they were bigger than what I was imagining for tiny terrors. Because I was like, oh, I could probably put these on my desk or something.
Oh no, they're the size of like an actual baby.
Yes.
I think they had some like smaller stuff, but yeah, those for with a wife that collects haunted dolls, I was like, don't go down that aisle. It's just full of fucking
the babies eating the hearts and arms and feet.
Yeah,
and stuff.
I'm surprised that half of that shit didn't come home with us. I mean, she did, like I said, bring a whole freaking shopping cart full of shit.
But she makes a lot of her own stuff, though, doesn't she? Or does she typically
No, she mainly
buy it?
buys it, but she buys it from people who make it on like. There's a whole market on freaking Facebook Marketplace and shit of people doing these homemade creepy dolls. I even know a few Netherworld guys that make weird doll art now. So it's a whole little cottage industry.
What is it? Cabbage Patch Kids Undead or something like.
I don't. Then they had a bunch of stuff to like horror themed plushies too. There was like a nice just Jason.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Michael
decor
Myers
type stuff.
Speaking of Beetlejuice, what we were going to be talking about this week, they had a. Remember the first movie when they do the whole Deo song? It ends with the hand coming up out of the bowl and grabbing them by the face, and it looks like it's like shrimp fingers, whatever. They had like a ceramic like serving bowl like that had the hand coming up out of it. So it had I was like, I thought it was like one of those like plastic candy bowls. No, but the whole thing was ceramic, including like the big fake hand, and then you could put whatever snacks and shit you wanted in the bowl and had the monster hand coming up out of it.
Hell yeah.
So yes, as we said, we're talking about Beetlejuice.
Just don't say it a third time. You'll be fine.
I said it 2 in the intro. Now we're at 4. So does that mean he's here and now I got to say it 2 more times to get rid of him?
No, I think you got to say it in succession or something is how that works.
So it's not like cumulative.
No, if that's the case.
It's like he's waiting like, motherfucker said it twice. Come on. One more. Like, it's like 3 weeks later, you're like, he's like, got you. And like, you said it 3 times. No, I didn't. Yeah, you said it once in October 2021. You said it in this fucking, he's got like a calendar in his office of like, who said what.
The ultimate game of who said it.
And you were close when you guessed 87. Apparently the first movie came out in 1988.
Ah, shit.
So yeah, you were pretty damn close. And in the land of reboots and remakes, we actually get a fucking nearly 20-year later sequel. Not quite 20. I know it's actually 98 to 30, nearly like 30-year sequel. Math hard.
Yeah. No, there's been a lot of time spanned.
That's kind of like the new thing now. It's like before it was remakes and reboots. Now it's like super late sequels. We got like, Top Gun. Fucking now we get a second Beetlejuice. I mean,
hey, this thing did a thing and they made money. We got to do that too.
I mean, I'm surprised that, if this is successful, which so far it appears to be, we get Edward Scissorhands too.
I mean, I guess you could technically.
Oh yeah, it's Budget was $100 million. It's already made, as of this recording, $402 million.
Of course, man. It's
So,
fucking
yeah.
Tim Burton. Like, you know that shit was going to be successful from the rip.
Speaking of Burton, I think it's a Burton movie. That was one of the big animatronics thing. They had the corpse bride.
Yes.
And apparently they didn't have the dude, but if they had the dude, the two animatronics would interact and have a conversation.
I don't know. You know, some of the advancements with the animatronics are pretty cool. You know, like with the art, it had the IR sensors, so as you moved, like the body would kind of rotate, like he's you know actually rotating next to you or something. And
and that was one of the, because I think he's got a new movie coming out.
Terrifier 3. Yep. Just watched Terrifier 2 again last night because I told Rachel, like, whenever it came out, it's like, I'm watching this, and she didn't pay attention. She's like, I never saw this. I can't believe you watched it without me. I'm like, well, that's what I do.
Give you a chance. You don't jump on the chance. I'm fucking watching this shit. Especially with your schedule, it's like I have very small windows of opportunity. Like you either jump in my window or you're on your own.
You know, most of the time, like, what the fuck do we do? Look, Juice knocked down the cigar. He's like, haha, motherfucker.
But I do and we got most of the original cast back, which they didn't include Jenna Davis or was it Alec Baldwin in the first one? But I think they did I don't know, the first movie really like completed their story, where this one was more a Lydia-centric story, and I think having those characters in it would have just kind of,
I think it would have muddled everything.
Unnecessary stuff, where this was more of a...
I mean, you know, I enjoyed this film, and like I stated previously, you know, if you're fans of Beetlejuice, you know, by all means, but I guess spoiler alert from here, but for me, the pacing did not seem, you know, as fast or something as the original. Like that whole ex-wife shit, like I could have did without any of that. Because I like there was just a couple of points where I'm just like,
now that you mention it, and but to complete my previous thought, like one of the things I read about not including Gina Davis in them was that the fact that it has been 30 years and they were dead in the first movie, so it wouldn't make sense to have their ghosts like have aged 30 years. So it was like we didn't want to have to use like the fucking CGI de-aging technology.
Oh, come on, everybody's doing it.
And it looks good in like short segments, but the longer you use it, the worse it looks. Because they don't change the voice or anything. Like Indiana Jones, like there's that good long segment of young Indy, but it sounds like old ass Harrison Ford. I mean, you can't de-age the voice very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless you go like full
No, before long it'll
CGI.
just be AI.
Yeah, but yeah, now that you mention it, it did seem like the whole. All right, because we have two plots. We have Lydia's daughter Astra getting duped by a dead guy to try to steal her life. And then there's this whole like murder mystery of like, we get Beetlejuice's origin, that he was married a chick back in the 1700s or something during the plague, who turned out to be a witch, and she was trying to basically sacrifice him, and he ended up killing her before she could complete the ritual and take his soul. And she has kind of returned and is trying to finish the job. So yeah, there was two.
It was a weird love triangle.
There was like two separate plots going on instead.
Lydia, you need to marry me, and this crazy bitch that is now well put back together needs to not marry me.
Yeah, that whole her stapling herself back together sequence though was kind of wild. And we got a nice little cameo by dead Danny DeVito as the underworld janitor, because apparently you still need janitors in the underworld.
I mean, I would think that you would need more than just one. Like, you should have as many janitors as you do Bobs.
Yeah, we got like, apparently Bob now works for Juice. Juice has his own, like, he's like, used to be in a solo act. I've built up my business of paranormal exorcisms. So now I got a whole staff of guys that all dress like, shrunken head realtors. I think there was a Brad in that group too. They weren't all Bob.
There was.
Bob was just the main
I got
one.
called out. Luckily, there were only 4 people in the auditorium that we were in, so we were good. Can I sidebar for just a complete minute?
Sure.
What the fuck is with this assigned seating bullshit at the theaters now?
Yeah, especially like, because you got that text. Is like, what the fuck is up with this shit? Like, AMC's been doing it for like ever, but we go to like a little local theater that has never been full. Like, even though I've gone on like opening nights, it's like fucking, there's plenty of room to like pick a seat, but now it's like, oh, where do you want to sit? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And I, like, literally, like, I had to pick a seat, and then because we went on like a Tuesday night, and it's like we were literally the only people in the theaters. And I'm like, do I really have to like? And because it shows you what seats have been picked. I'm like, dude, like, the movie starts in 5 minutes. We're the only motherfuckers here. Do I really have to pick a seat? Because I'm gonna sit wherever the fuck I want when I get in there. So you assign me 3 random fucking seats, because I guarantee I did not look at the seat numbers when I walked in that theater.
Yeah, I'm just like, what? What are we doing right now? I don't know. It was just perplexing. Another thing that, Plus, too, goddamn, dude, it was over $50 for an IC and 2 movie tickets. Like, I don't know. Like, me personally, I like my big-ass TV and my sound system at home, and I don't have to deal with anybody.
Yeah.
I already know where I'm sitting.
For most movies, I could sit here. At this point, if we wait a couple weeks where it goes into like premium rental, it's still cheaper. Like, I can rent a movie for $20 on Prime or YouTube or whatever and watch it here, and it's still with all kind of snacks. I can have a fucking steak if I want while I watch my movie, and it's probably cheaper than going to a theater with like a couple people and getting snacks and drinks and whatnot. It's gotten kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, like,
where's the old man talk now?
Well, I mean,
back in my day, I paid $1.50 for a show.
Well, I mean, I could understand back in the day when, you had to set up the reels and, get everything dialed in for the projector screen and what. Now it's literally, oh, I'm pressing play.
It's all fucking digital now. Anyway, do you remember the ghetto theater we used to have here? It was they built a new theater, which has since also been torn down and built another new theater. But back in the day, we had this old ass theater that only had 3 screens, but they didn't get new movies. So it was like, if you waited a month or two, the things that were no longer new movies would make it to the ghetto theater, and it was like $1.50.
Yeah, that was the only theater I was allowed to go to. If you think my parents are going to give me like $5 to see a movie or something? Fuck no.
Yeah, that was always good too.
Like, in fact, I think the only way I got to go to theaters is if it was with a different family, not my own family.
Yeah, I always liked the little like ghetto theater, because it was like,
But I mean, even
especially if you missed something when it was in theaters, like, oh fuck, I missed whatever the new hotness was. I'm like, well, let me give it a couple weeks till it hits the dollar
But even then,
theater.
like, you could go on a weekday, before noon and see like $1 or a few bucks or something like that. Like, it just,
because that was back in the day when there was this long period.
like, that's actually how I got to see RoboCop, was when it went to the little ghetto ass theater. And I don't know. I was a kid, so I'm like, haha, they just shot that dude in the dick.
Well, that and it, like,
quit trying to cover my eyes. You brought me here.
This was back in the day when there wasn't that, like, literally a movie would come out. Here's more old man talk. Then you would have to wait like a long ass period of time for it to then go to rental. and then be on rental for a while before it finally made it to like TV and where you could own it, buy it yourself.
Yeah, but you never wanted to watch it on, TV because everything was always edited.
It used to be like theater, rental, then you could purchase it. Now it's like shit's hitting either streaming or streaming rental, like while things are still in the theater.
I kind of feel like that's gone away though.
With really shortened up
now that COVID is not what it once was, and we had to shut the world down.
But now things like are hitting that rental window the second it leaves the theater.
What was the last movie we did? Oh yeah, Romulus.
Yeah, because that one was
that one's still got like another few weeks before it's available for any kind of streaming or anything. So I kind of feel like, certain studios or whatnot are still trying to keep that, like, we're going to ride this theater train, and then, a month and a half or 2 months, then we'll make it available for digital download or streaming.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like the studios that have a streaming service. If it's something that can be thrown on HBO or Disney, something like that window's much shorter. Because they're like, we need content. Like, hurry up and get it into the streaming. But anyway, we digress.
Much like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The show that has two subplots.
I will say that it was great to see Michael Keaton taking that helm again, though.
Yeah.
There needed to be a lot more Beetlejuice in this film. Like, Lydia and whatever, with their drama should have just been on the back burner. Should have been all about the juice.
Oh, yeah, because they could have just done the Beetlejuice running from his ex-wife storyline. That could have been its own whole movie and just been straight, all juice. But instead we get grown-up Lydia, who's now a TV ghost host. Her show Ghost House, where she goes and talks to people's ghosts for them to try.
I forgot what they call those people. Not a psychic.
Medium.
A medium, yeah. Psychic medium, maybe?
Something like that.
I don't know.
But yeah, apparently she didn't grow out of the I can see dead people phase, and now she's turned it into a whole business and is like, living in New York hosting TV shows with her douchebag fucking man bun having producer / boyfriend. And I kind of thought that was funny in that we have Beetlejuice, who very much has, and I've seen Tim Burton and Michael Keaton is like, no, we want to keep the juice. We want to show no character development whatsoever. We want him to be the same non-politically correct guy he was back then, and then just him next to modern day woke douchebag was just it made like the other guy's ridiculousness that much more funny when you see like the juice.
Later, fucker.
Oh. Yeah, but then you get the subplot that, Lydia's daughter, runs, they go back to the little town from the first movie because, of course, Charles died in a tragic shark attack. We crashed a plane. He didn't die in the plane. He got ate by a shark. And I appreciate the whole, because that actor did not return because of, Google him and you'll see why. And they did not bring him back for the sequel. He's had some legal issues. So they do the whole, like, him dying.
Why does that not seem like it's supposed to be a laughing matter?
No, it's probably pretty serious. But I do like that because in the afterlife.
Was he at Diddy parties?
Yeah, pretty much. He's on a registry these days, if you know what I mean.
Not Windows registry.
No. So yeah, he got his head bit off by a shark. So in the afterlife, your body stays however you died. So it's like the body double and voice actor portraying that character is like just a headless corpse walking around through the whole movie. The only time you see his face is on his headstone, and then they do like kind of a flashback explaining how he died, but it's that same old. I like that they brought back the old like claymation animation for that sequence and some of the other sequences from. Made it look just like the original movie. Like, you know, it's like effects have definitely improved in the last 30 years. You could have gone CGI, but it still looks like old school 80s claymation. And I'm like, that's cool. That's definitely a choice that I appreciated. It definitely kicked me in the nostalgias. I mean, even the fucking sandworms look just as bad as they did in the 80s. I'm like, that's fucking cool. You didn't try to like unnecessarily
like polish things. And you know,
they still used mainly practical effects and crazy
but
shit.
I've gotten to the point now to where like it's cool with the advancements of CGI, but I'm more curious to see the ingenuity of, you know, an individual to do things practically more so than I am, you know, a programmer's ability to, you know, make things digitally look.
And I think when you put like limitations on, that's where creativity is born. Like, it's like, all right, you know, I can do anything I want because I have an unlimited budget and fucking CGI masters here. But it's like, all right, here's the money. CGI here's what you have to effect. Figure out what you can do with what you have. And I think that really kind of breeds, you know, more creativity when you're working in the limits of. I like it when they use mostly practical engine, just enhance it with CGI instead of being just full fucking CGI.
I don't know. Then you start getting those weird, like, is this futurific sci-fi type deal, or is this... You start getting into that weird animation area that I'm like, eh.
Get that uncanny valley, which, yeah, Homeboy and Romulus, it was like, when it was the practical, you could tell when it was the practical character and then, like, a CGI character. it was like, yeah, when it went full CGI, it was like, oh, this is...
not looking great.
No, but yeah, when it was yeah, you could tell like a more practical thing. It was like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. So did you like when she finally goes on like the date with Homeboy, they kiss and, you know, start floating, and I just go, called it. I knew he was a ghost. And Amanda's like, how did you know? I'm like, did you not notice he was wearing the exact same shit like all 3 times she's come and hung out with him? And when they walk through the house, like, I thought either he was going to be dead and his parents were still alive because they didn't pay any attention to him when he came through the house with her, or they were dead and he was alive. And I'm like, oh no, they're all fucking dead because apparently he's a little serial killer asshole who killed his parents and then fell out of a treehouse running from the cops.
I hate it when that happens. I don't understand, man. Horror movies. Like, why people always got to be running upstairs and running up trees? You got no way out at that point. No way out.
Oh. So, yeah. We've got Juice trying to hide from his ex-wife and still trying to, like, pull off the whole get Lydia to marry me so I could stay in the real world, because apparently it's kind of like immigration. You know, you marry an American and you get your visa. You marry the living, you get a life visa.
Or you just recite the, you know, incantation and, you know, trades places.
Yeah, Juice never tried that. He never tried to scam somebody into, like, you know, he's a more honorable douchebag. He's like, you got to marry me, so you get to live, I get to live. I'm not going to try to steal your life like some other these younger whippersnapper ghosts who going to scam a poor innocent Jenna Ortega into trading her life. Speaking of which, as we find, because we got a lot more of the netherworld or whatever you call it, this kind of death waiting room before you go into your afterlife, whatever it may be.
Take a number.
It's very like bureaucrat, like being at the fucking DMV or some shit. But they definitely expanded
like
that.
Even in death, you can't get away from
fucking bureaucrats. Yeah, because the first one we really only got like kind of the waiting room and like that one office for the help desk for the recently dead. Where this one we got a whole thing, and the thing that takes you to the afterlife is the literal Soul Train, and it's like the fucking Soul Train TV show. They even got a guy who kind of looks like Don Cornelius, who is the conductor of the train. Everybody's wearing 70s shit, and there's a whole like funk dance sequence. I'm like, all right, that's a funny joke. I like that. I appreciate this.
That was always the crazy thing for me, because after your Saturday morning cartoons wrapped up at like that 11:30 or noon hour, it immediately went to Soul Train Live.
Yeah, Soul Train. I literally, and whoever they had like playing the conductor, I'm like, is Don Cornelius still alive? Spoiler alert, no, he is not. But I was like, is that actually Don Cornelius? And we got a couple new characters this round. We already mentioned Monica Bellucci as Beetlejuice's ex-wife, but then we also get what's his name? Dude from Spider-Man, and
Don't say Tom Holland.
no, who the fuck's Tom Holland? Anyway, he's playing a detective, but he's actually like an actor, and now he's like the underworld detective trying to solve underworld crimes. William Dafoe as Wolf Jackson, ghost detective.
If that's not an 80s, trope, I don't know what is. Like,
yeah, so he's trying to like, and he's got like a bunch of like, looks like fucking guys from Chips as his his underworld cops that are like, we got to keep people from breaking out of the dead zone, and also this crazy lady who apparently you can die in the ghost realm because she's a soul sucker.
you just deflate like a balloon.
And I gotta say, Monica Bellucci she damn fine for her age. Like, she does not look like a lady of her age.
Man, it's amazing what you can do with some staples.
Yeah. Oh, and I like the flashback to him like telling Bob like the whole story of his ex-wife, and it suddenly cuts to like, since it was like Italian in the plague era, it's like black and white, and he's speaking Italian, and it looks like an old like fucking make it look like an old Italian movie. I'm like, why the fuck is Beetlejuice speaking Italian and we get subtitles all of a sudden? This is weird, but it kind of works for a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know. That's just like the whole thing. Like Beetlejuice being like, I'm going to blow a big ass hole in my wall. Bob, make sure nobody comes in or out. He's like, this would be a lot easier if you didn't just blow a big ass hole in the wall.
Yeah. It's like, because, yeah,
like, I can relate to how Bob feels every day.
Yeah, Bob, he's like, you're my body double. If she shows up, you're me. And while she's killing you, I'll run away. Bob's like, oh. But yeah, then they have the whatever jackass he tricks Astrid into go. He's like, oh yeah, like there's a way in this book here that I can get my life back if you help me, but I need a living person to cast the spell, and you'll get to see your dad again. And of course, Lydia figures it all out a little bit too late, and her daughter is already fucked off to the ghost realm, and so she actually has to finally call Beetlejuice and be like, all right, I need your help. And he's like, all right, sign this contract that you'll marry me. Fine, whatever, fuck it. And he's like, because like the way to get into the underworld if you have the book and you're undead is to draw a door. The door opens up. He's like, we're not doing that. So he just draws like a big ass bomb. I'm like, all right, cool. Different way. Was it that easy?
Apparently it is.
Yeah. And it's just like, Bob, whatever you do, don't let anyone out. Okay. And as soon as like Juice leaves, or all the other like shrunken head guys are like, fuck this, we out.
Guys, come back. I can't take all these calls myself.
Yeah, that is your personal hell. It's like I'm stuck in a call center for eternity. And of course, like, your people answering your phones can't talk. That might have been a staffing error on Juice's part.
I mean, but maybe if you're recently deceased, maybe Bob does have a voice.
You can hear him. You can understand the Bob if you're also dead. We just can't understand him because we're
like that's
we're alive.
That's the first.
That sounds like a fucked up idea Burton would have in his like head canon of this. He's like, oh no, everyone can understand the Bobs. It's like, but you're living. That's why you can't understand the Bobs. It's kind of like in Star Wars when everyone understands the Wookiee, but none of us can understand the Wookiee. Dead people's like, oh yeah, that's just a Bob. I'm like, yeah, we understand that. We speak telepathically.
You know, that's the first thing. Call in, once you make it through the Bobs and they verify you've deceased, then you can come in and sit
sure
down to get your number.
A prank call. Oh,
death is complicated.
I did like the because if you ever watched the old Beetlejuice animated series, where him and Lydia were like friends and would go on adventures and shit, she always had like a red dress. So when he tries to make good on his plan to marry her, like, she's magically changed into this red like wedding dress thing. I'm like, oh, it's kind of like the dress animated. From the animated thing.
I didn't catch that originally, but I should have caught it.
Because Amanda has like, and we mentioned her collection of creepy dolls. She has a Beetlejuice and Lydia dolls, and she's wearing the red dress. So when that popped up, she's like, it's the dress. She got like super excited about that.
God, movies would probably be so much more entertaining with friends. But then again, I'm like, all you do is sit there for 2 hours and not saying anything.
And most of it's like
I don't understand why the movies was always a good date idea. Oh yeah, because it was never about the movie.
Yeah, I've not watched so many movies back in the day.
It's like, God damn it, we paid $50 for this shit. We're fucking watching it.
No shit. I mean, for me though, it's like, this was a rarity because most of the time I just go see stuff by myself because it's time-wise, it's easier. You don't have to get a babysitter and shit or find a day off. I can just like, all right, I got time. I'm going to go see this movie. And then when it comes out on video, I'll watch it again with the wife. But Beetlejuice was one of those like, you're not fucking seeing this without me.
You should have put your foot down. Figure out who really wears the pants in this relationship.
I don't wear pants. I wear a kilt. Or shorts. It's like as soon as the temperatures hit 70, it's like I'm pants free for the summer.
I don't think the 70s are ever gonna leave.
I know.
It's gonna be one of those years where it's gonna be 90 on Halloween and not feel natural.
And this is like one that I'm like, I bought a really nice winter coat at Jose Bank or whatever, and it's like, it's not. I bought it like in the summer when it was like a $300 coat that was on clearance for like $40, and it's like, damn it, this jacket looks really good, and it's like, it's not gotten cold enough for me to wear the damn thing yet. I mean, I like, come on, give me just a couple cold days so I can show off my pimp ass jacket I bought.
You're so dapper.
Get me a fucking new top hat and my fancy jacket.
Oh. Then we need to find somewhere to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the haunted houses be open. We gotta try to hit some haunts this year.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah,
apparently we just need to find somebody that models cities and just say Beetlejuice 3 times, and that'd probably be a cool haunt.
Yeah, just whoop, shrink down into the model. I think because whatever I've done Six Flags Fright Fest like once maybe, But Disney or Universal has their whatever horror nights, and I think they've done like a Beetlejuice themed, because usually the Universal horror themes are movie based haunted houses, and I think they have done a Beetlejuice, or I know they've done just about every other kind of whatever the new hotness in horror is. They've definitely done a Stranger Things haunt, and
we need to I always say, hey, I want to check out some different haunts, but they're so far away.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we could, back in the day, we were like, yeah, we could hit 2 or 3 in a night, but now it's like they're all so fucking spaced out. By the time you get to one, it's like, I don't have an hour away to drive to the next one, so it's like, you only get like one a night. It's hard to do the 2 or 3 in a session like we used to.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, hell, there's been plenty of times, and don't get me wrong, like sometimes waiting in the queue and the lines are half the fun, but you know, it's like,
yeah, back in the day we could start early
we've
and hit
been
2 or 3,
you know, in line for 2+ hours, you know, spend your 40 minutes or whatever going through the attractions, and then like, and all the traffic and the fuckery of getting from here to there is going to be another.
And there's not so many kind of small haunts. They used to have stuff like House on Horror Hill, these little like local haunts. And now it's like they're all like big productions. It's like we don't get so much of the little pop-up haunts anymore. At least not around here.
No, I don't really, you know, outside of some of the local church haunts, that's about it. Like I can remember, you know, back in the day, like be like, oh yeah, there's a strip mall, and just, you know, boom, here's a haunt. Oh shit.
Yeah, or like an abandoned house somewhere that, like, it used to be kind of like Spirit Halloweens. Our store's closed down, we're turning into a haunt this year. It's
But nope. Now it's all been demolished, and it's parking garages. And
everything's like
Hollywood
juice. Budget, fucking big bank haunts. Yeah, that's the other thing. We used to hit 3 or 4 haunts, and it was like $10 a haunt. Now it's like you're paying $35-$40
at least
per show.
And now we're both in relationships, so you got to double the price.
Yeah,
everything doubles.
Yeah, exactly. I think last year I hit what I consider the big 3 of Atlanta: Netherworld, Folklore, and Paranoia. But I
heard 13 Stories is really good, but it's just...
A few times I've been there, I like it, but yeah, that's like fucking nearly 2-hour drive from up here in the north.
From the mountains to the south side.
I've enjoyed it when we went, but yeah, that one's kind of a haul. That and Camp Blood too is always fun, but yeah, that's super long way to go. We'll see if we hit more than the big 3 this year. I feel if you could almost do Folklore and Paranoia in one night. They're kind of not far from each other, but yeah, it's like Netherworld is way over in Stone Mountain, so that's a one day trip. You can't really squeeze in a second show out that way.
But my thing too is like, you know, I like being at the haunts 8-9 o'clock. You know, like you pull up toward the latter part. You know, the actors are fucking, you know, exhausted or hoarse, you know, from screaming and yelling. But you know, then again, the thing is, you've missed
the ones that are open during the week too. You can go on like a Tuesday night, and it's like not as crowded, and people are a little.
You can
fresher.
go on a Tuesday night. I can't tell you what the hell I'm doing on a Tuesday night. I can't tell you what I'm doing tonight.
Tacos.
I don't know. No idea. Like,
that's always the answer. But other than trying to finally marry, Lydia, Juice actually kind of the hero of this story. He does help save her daughter and doesn't, and when
I mean, he's actually pretty forthcoming, like, hey, this is the terms, and like he's not really trying anything shenanigan or sneaky.
Yeah, it's like even and we got a return of Catherine O'Hara as Delia Dietz. I do like that they, kind of in the first movie she kind of hated her stepmother, but you see that they've actually kind of had a relationship these 30 years. It's they're kind of, she still thinks she's a weird art lady, but they're like, yeah, we're still like,
We're cordial.
yeah, it's we're still family, and she's like, gone beyond painting and sculpting to now she's doing weird performance art and shit, and she's like, I'm gonna turn this whole funeral thing into like a art piece, and then I bought these defanged asps, and then sure enough gets bit by her non-defanged snakes and dies during her live stream, and when she winds up I can't be dead, like, oh yeah, lady, you're dead. And even she's like, oh, fuck.
No, there's been a mix-up.
Beetlejuice. And he's like, hey, how you doing, Ma? And she's like, can you help me find my husband? He's like, cool. If you help me find my future wife, yeah. And he gets her out of the dead zone and takes her to the wedding. He actually helps her out. And even when kind of the key to the whole soul swap thing is it's not permanent until dude gets his underlife passport stamped at immigration, and kind of the third subplot is like Lydia's first husband died in an Amazon expedition, and for some reason, even though she can see the dead, she's not been able to see him, and that makes Astra think all this I see dead people stuff is bullshit. And you find out he's there. He's working in the passport office, and they finally get like a little reunion. But he's like, we gotta stop him, and they catch up to him right as he's getting his passport stamped, and it's like he's like, ha, too late, and he's like. And then he opens his passport and it says shit out of luck, and you look up and Juice is the guy stamping. He's like, as what's his name says, like, yeah, go fuck yourself, and drops him into hell. I forgot exactly what the line was, because he's like, Nietzsche said, or what, he's like, yeah, fuck off.
That was the one PG-13 F-bomb.
Yeah, because later on he tries to F-bomb and it bleeps, and he got his one. Go fuck yourself, beep, or fuck off, or whatever it was. I was like, yes. So yeah, Juice held up his end of the bargain. He saved the girl, brought mom to the wedding. He's like, he's an asshole, but he's like, he's an asshole of his word. Kind of like, Juice ain't a bad dude. All right, we good.
So would you kick it with the Juice? Would you spill your guts?
Oh yeah, that fucking
lose your head.
The fucking
off your rocker.
When bad boyfriend is like, oh, you're just crazy. And she's like, no, you can't say the name. He's like, I'm doing this for you, Beetlejuice. And all of a sudden they're in like fucking couples counseling with Dr. Juice. And he's like, all right, who's gonna spill their guts? No one. All right, I guess I'll go first. And just literally spilt his guts. And homeboy's like freaking out. And he's like, I'm like, this is all a figment of my imagination. I was a figment of imagination. Can I do this? Dude just faints. And then the creepy like baby juice that pops out of her, that thing was disturbing. Not as disturbing as the alien baby thing, but that was still pretty pretty nasty.
So is that going to be the next thing? It's going to be a prequel, and it's going to be Baby Juice.
I know that the third one is Beetlejuice, and it's the little baby juice. Oh, I do like all the that, and too when they have Charles's funeral and there's a child's choir singing Deo.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's funny.
Daylight come on, me want to go home. He say day.
Yep, that's my funeral plans. We need a child's choir to sing calypso music.
My plan is throw me on the funeral fire and keep it moving.
Stuff me full of tannerite and explode me. Me say de.
So was there anything you expected or anticipated that this didn't give you?
The one thing that I was like, when Juice shows, they get out of the dead zone, and because Lydia's supposed to marry this asshole at like midnight on Halloween, and Juice, of course, crashes the wedding, and it's like, nope, this is our wedding now, and doses him with truth serum, so he confesses that, like, I'm just doing this for your money. Like, I think I'll make more money as your husband than I would as your manager, and I don't have a dead ex-wife. Like, I made up all that shit to go to the whatever survivors counseling thing to pick up chicks. I fully expected that the whole accident with the snakes killing Delia to be his plot. Like, I expected, like, he killed her to, like, get the inheritance by marrying his. And no, that was like not that. She was like, no, I just got scammed. Like, I paid extra for the depoisoned snakes, and
that's why you don't order asp off Temu.
And somebody ripped me off. Like, I fully expected that to be like, oh yeah, I poisoned her with the fucking snakes. So yeah, I was like, so he was an asshole, but he wasn't a murderous asshole. But yeah, I totally expected that to be like, a fourth subplot that he actually killed Delia.
Yeah, that was a big ass vial of truth serum too.
That, and I did like the effect of, the modern day. He's like, oh, everyone I invited to our wedding is like fucking influencers with like big followings and shit, because this is all like a media stunt. And Juice is like, well, I appreciate all y'all coming. Could we have a moment alone? And like everybody gets sucked into their fucking smartphones. I was like, all right, that's pretty cool.
I like that. I like that modern twist. Like, I hate this shit where like just everything, all the time revolves around the fucking phone.
Yeah, even as
I guess because I haven't, breached the tabs of influencer yet.
Yeah, as someone who tries to make fucking YouTube content, it's like, all right, cool, I'm at a thing. I'm gonna film like 2 minutes of shit that I can post later, and then I'm putting my fucking phone away. I'm not experiencing this through a screen. There's a band in front of me. I'm gonna watch the fucking band.
That's not what you're there for. You're there for the fans. So smash that subscribe and like button and comment and follow below. Yeah.
Exactly. Titties.
Not yet, though. You still got 10 more minutes listening to us ramble. See, that's how you work in a timestamp.
So what about you? What?
So
was this successful in your opinion? Was it all you expected, or like? And I don't know, like you said,
it was, like,
despite the slow pacing, that,
just some of the subplots, like I wanted a lot more of the underworld, of the juice, of the, gags and gimmicks, more so than I really cared about, Astrid or, Lydia's shit. Like, I'm like, one of those subplots would have been fine. I didn't need 4 different ones, like, interwoven. Like, no, just... But at the same time, like, I'm sure that $100 million budget would have been $300 million, trying to continually do shit with the underworld and that sort of thing.
And, and this was still only like 104 minutes, so it wasn't like kind of the modern theme of everything's got to be a fucking 2-hour movie.
But it felt like at times I'm just like, and part of that is I'm just realizing is me in general. Like, I have no work-life balance, so I'm always pressured and always feeling like I don't know how to decompress and just fucking unwind and enjoy shit. I'm always like, I gotta get this shit done because I don't know what's gonna happen 30 seconds from now. Joe, I gotta fucking bounce. You're on your own. Have fun.
Yeah, and it's
So I don't know if that was
I gotta say,
me or
sitting down and watching it the first time, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. I had a good time. But I also see what you say, and now, like, kind of looking back at it, I mean, we could have had just a movie of Juice and Lydia. We could have had just a movie of the plot of trying to stop her daughter from getting killed. And we could have had a movie of Juice and his ex-wife, her trying to kill him. But the combining of all three of those, kind of like, some of the storylines seem to get less attention than the other storylines. Like, yeah, like you could have probably deleted the whole ex-wife bit from the whole thing, and it had almost no effect on the storyline. And because she's there, you keep seeing her kill people along the way, and then she shows up at the big stop the wedding thing and tries to kill the Juice, and Astra saves them, feeds her and the douchebag boyfriend to a sandworm. But yeah, other than
like
that,
I could have seen like if the intent is to not wait another 30 years to do a third film or something, then maybe you would have left some of those as loose ends and been like, okay, like these are your avenues for that third movie.
Yeah.
Like,
because you could have had not even had Lydia and them, and that might have been the plan if they couldn't get that part of the cast back. Just a Juice and Dolores movie of like him, like, running through the underworld trying to keep from getting fucking ganked. But yeah, it was it felt like you could have like even just kept the other two plots and just completely like deleted that whole ex-wife bit. It seemed unnecessary to the story, but overall, could it have been better? Yes. Was it good on its own? Yes. I like I said, I enjoyed it as a fan of the original
and
film.
I didn't get to do what I originally wanted to. Like, originally I was fucking trying to watch the first film again so it'd be fresh, because
yeah, I still haven't had a chance to
it's probably been
review the original.
Over a decade since I last watched it, and
maybe that's what I'll do tonight. I'll find.
I was I was trying to rent it on YouTube because I was like, oh shit, I can watch this real quick and still have time to finish it before the new movie starts. And fucking Google's like, no, you must enter your password. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck the password is. Wait 6 hours while we send you a new one. And I'm like, fuck off. This has already become more difficult than it needed to be.
Hell, I don't know if I have a working VCR. There's probably Beetlejuice on fucking VHS around here somewhere. I would not. My wife's a collector of ancient technologies.
From back in the days when you could actually own a thing.
Yeah. Dude, do you remember what the last, like, physical media you bought, like, movie-wise? Because since now that, like, streaming, it's like, I don't remember the last time I physically bought a DVD. Unless it was something I was just, like, something I wanted, like, to collect.
I don't know. For me, it's probably range 15.
That might be it. Like, yeah, it's like some of these, like, little independent films that you can't... Like, I think I've bought some of the Kevin Smith stuff, like, in the age of streaming, just because, some things get, like, small releases. It's like, yeah, it's like... I think, like... the last CD I bought was fucking Cybertronic Spree. And then I realized I didn't have a fucking CD player. It's like, yeah, it's like I've not bought physical media in so long.
Yeah. The days of ownership, my friend, are few and far between. Hell, we got entire subdivisions in Dawsonville now that they're just rental houses. Can't even buy the houses. They're just rentals.
Yeah. Shit's fucked up, man. So, what are you thinking of your Churchill there? How's it? I don't think I've had the deluxe. I've done the Classico and just about every other punch.
It's good, man. It's earthy. It's woody. Strong on the notes of cedar. That's probably the most lingering taste that's on my taste buds. Just a little bit of touch of spice. For me, definitely more medium than it is full. But I know you're a purveyor of punch cigars. The deluxe, I highly recommend. It's like the classic, but just turned up a couple of notches just to add some complexity.
Yeah, I think the successor here, it says it's medium full to more. It's more toward that medium side for me, but yeah, very kind of nutty and chocolatey with that little just kind of coffee kick. It's not a bad cigar. Like I would probably definitely smoke another one of these. I kind of want to try the Torpedo now, see how different that Habano flavor changes things. So the no post-credit scene on this, they've it's not a Marvel movie, but the
outtakes though.
The after not afterlife. After she gets rid of the juice, we get this whole like I'm retiring from, and part of it's a dream sequence. We don't know really sure like how much of that is dream sequence, but she's like, yeah, I'm quitting the show. I'm going to spend time with the living. And one of the things like, her daughter says that her and her father was going to go, they had a plan to go visit all these like haunted places around the world. And you see like them going to visit Dracula's castle and shit. And then she meets a dude who's playing Dracula at the castle, and they get married, and then you see her having a baby, and then like plot twist, the baby's the fucking little zombie goddamn Beetlejuice baby, and starts running around the delivery room and whatnot. And then Lydia wakes up and she's like, oh fuck, and then Juice wakes up beside her. She's like, man, I had a weird dream. And then she like wakes up a third time. It's like, okay, I'm by myself. That was fucking weird. So do you think we're gonna get a fourth or a third Beetlejuice? Oh fuck, I said it.
I think so.
We get Grandma Lydia and adult.
I don't know
adult
when,
Astra with a
but
child.
I think there's going to be, because overall this is a success. So.
Or do we get, since the Juice doesn't age, do we get Juice now trying to marry Lydia's daughter in a third movie?
It's Juice trying to raise little baby Juice and all the
Grandpa Juice.
But
I gotta say, Michael Keaton's had like a nice like renaissance lately. I mean, he got to play Batman again. He got to play the Juice again. Yeah, I forgot how much I like him as an actor. He's one of those guys that can do serious shit and comedy shit, and it's like he hits on kind of like all levels of whatever he's doing.
Yeah, it was definitely great to see him, take the helm of Beetlejuice again. And, from what I could tell, it looks like he had a great time doing it. I wish there was more Juice, We
need like just a Juice solo film where it's like all Juice all the time. We don't need the human drama. Let's just fucking get a Juice adventure. Or a fucking Juice like TV show.
Just him trying to keep the fucking underworld together. Because we got, a good bit of that, but I wanted a lot more.
Yeah, like, I mean, that would be ripe for a straight up like Juice like series on one of the streaming services. Just day to day of like, I mean, you could definitely do that as a series where it's like each week is Juice doing a different paranormal, whatever he called it, where he was like, exercising the living, him, going on different adventures to like try to haunt people and shit.
or just, teaming up with what the fuck? I'm gonna say Nightwolf. What the fuck? What's the dude's name? His 80s.
Yeah, that would be an interesting like buddy cop series.
Yes,
like fucking.
Almost like the Ghostbusters. They got Slimer and shit, and this guy's like, hey, we're trying to keep the balance of the lines from blurring between the living and the dead and the two worlds.
Wolf Jackson. Yeah. Wolf Jackson and his partner Beetlejuice solving dead crimes. Like That would be like that. I mean, yeah, that is the ultimate buddy cop story. Like the hard-nosed detective and then fucking Juice's crazy ass. That could work. Tim Burton, like listen in, like definitely that should
Probably
be the next
already
project.
in the works.
I wouldn't doubt it. But that's all we got for you this week. Time to go back to the land of the living, and we'll be right back with some science. And you've been watching the Cigar Nerds podcast. Check us out on cigarnerdpodcast.com and on the ESO Network, esonetwork.com. And don't forget, smoke them if you got them. Like, comment, and subscribe.